Hey guys, this is JP aka Sakura, and today I am going to show you how to make some amazing future bass vocal chops. So these are the kinds of vocal chops that we'll be making. And before I get into the tutorial, I would like to first show a bad example of a vocal chop from an earlier song of mine, so that we can identify what are the good qualities about vocal chops that we will try to get in this video. So here I go. So as you can see, those vocal chops aren't very interesting at all, and the main reason is that it's just a single note, a single how can I say it? It's like a single chop being played, and it's not very interesting because it lacks that naturalness and movement that vocal chops usually have. I think one of the most interesting things about vocal chops that make them so appealing is the fact that we are working with human vocals, and differently from synthesizers or some kinds of instruments, the the human voice and like speech and singing, it has this very unique quality to it, and when we make vocal chops, though it doesn't necessarily sound natural because it is indeed a heavily processed sound, but it sounds very organic, should I say. So let's get right to the tutorial with that out of the way. So as you can see here, I've got the vocal chops that I make, and I'm just gonna delete this and make it from scratch. So let's just mute it. Okay, so for this method you will need an acapella, and it works particularly well if you're working on a song with vocals and you just get the acapella from that song and make your chops out of that. So I will use SliceX for this, and also open SliceX and just drag it here. I now need to make it so that it will auto slice here. Yeah. So okay. And so this particular method of making vocal chops, it is great when you don't have a set melody in mind and you just kind of want to play around until you find some nice rhythm or melody going on. You can of course try to match this to a melody, like you first find the notes and then you will like pitch them, but I find that this particular method works best if you like don't have anything in mind and you just want some vocal chops to make them from scratch and come up with something nice. And it's actually works pretty well for like organically and on the fly coming up with a melody even if you don't have one. So yeah, it's a pretty nice method. So first let's just route this to a new mixer track, name it vocal chops, and I will start to just try to come up with something nice. And one thing you can do that's kind of interesting is to take this, make a slide note, and it will slide relative to this one. So whatever pitch this note is, like if I place it here, it will slide um, 2 semitones down. So you can use this either to make pitch slides, or just if you want to change the pitch of the note, you just do this, like you make it very short. But I find that a very short slide in makes it sound nicer, and then you just try to find whatever note. And you can try to play it together with the song so you can get a better idea of how it will sound. Okay, so now one thing I like to do is to add my effects chain right from the start, so you can get a better preview on what it will sound. As you can see, it's sounding very dry and uninteresting right now. So I will go here and add my effects chain, which I have, and then I will explain what it does. So here, vocal chops. Okay, so for my effects chain, I use this M auto pitch, which we will use for formant shifting later. You can also add this a little bit of width if you like the effect. I used some EQ. I just cut off a bit of the highs that are a bit too harsh and give it a little boost here. Some OTT. I pushed the depth quite high, but like not at 100% of course. I also think I increased the mids a bit. Some fruity delay, which I automate the wet, and some. This is just some reverb, like very drenched in reverb too. And yeah, that's basically it. You can experiment with other stuff. Distortion works nice alongside OTT. Okay, so this is what it sounds like with the effects chain. And what I like to do when I am making the vocal chops is switch between like just playing it, like just previewing it with the effects on, and sometimes I will turn it off to see what it sounds like. So you can hear it more clearly. As you can see, I drenched this in effects like reverb, OTT, and delay, and it sounds. It's easier to notice what's going on if you turn this off temporarily while working, but I will also go and turn them back on so you can hear what it will actually sound like. And of course, the basic concepts of making good melodies also apply to making interesting vocal chops, which is basically you want to do some call and response and also go for repetition. So like here I got this, and then you try to make some variations from this, but like keeping the bass rhythm and just repeating some of the notes. And another thing you can do is work with the envelopes here. I'm noticing that some of these start too abruptly, so I will just make like this very quick fade in here. And another cool thing you can do is to go here and go to deck 15, the color 15, which is deck A reversed, and it can make some very nice effect for some specific sounds that you may found that they work better like in reverse, so that they kind of like suck into the next note. So this one, for example. So here is what we got so far. I just put this together quickly, so it may not be as good as the original vocal chops I showed, but it's just to show the basic idea of the workflow, which is basically just playing around. And I will show this, and then we can get into the final tweaks. And the final thing you will want to do is to play with the formant shifting. Here I am using M auto pitch, but you can use any plugin for this. And this is where we can get some kind of interesting results, for example, depending on the vibe of the vocal chops you're going for. And what I think is nice is to make an automation out of this so that you can vary the nature, the quality of the vocal chops, and once again just play around with it. So here is the final result. And as you can see, this sounds a lot more natural and organic compared to the other version, the bad vocal chop example that I showed you earlier. And it's got the nice organic feel to it. It's got a lot of movement. Both the fact that we took different vocal chops, different parts of the vocal to make this instead of just like using the same sample for everything. And also the fact that we did lots of automations like here with the formant, it all helps to make it sound more organic. And this all adds to the basic benefit of using vocal chops, which is that you can get that vocal texture and that vocal quality while working with more synthetic sounds. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're not already. It helps a lot, and yeah, I hope you found this useful.